सबको मेरा नमस्कार and respected Professor Nagbhushan, the Vice Chancellor of Vignan University and respected Chairman of Vignan University, and all invited speakers and all the faculty members who have joined this program to discuss about outcome-based education, that what we are having uh, today. We are working on that. So if you look at now last decade has really been uh, elapsed for, with the introduction of outcome-based education. And this idea is basically has come from Western country with the agreement that we made on Washington Agreement. Question arises, why this outcome-based education? That means whatever you were doing for last maybe 75 years in the modern, after independence, that we yesterday celebrated with a fanfare and enthusiasm. And now we are in the era of Amrit Mahotsav. Now, what we are doing for the last 75 years, is it our education is not having any outcome? Or we have never looked at, as the chairman, your chairman told, that what we are trying to do is basically, make the people to remember. I sometimes feel that we just make them to mug and then vomit on the examination, hall, or that we in the paper. And that is really is a pathetic situation. And that, let me tell you, when I was in school and colleges, there are several good teachers. Let me tell you, as your chairman has pointed out, I personally feel that way, that it is not that teachers were not there who were having taken care of this outcome based what we are going to discuss. No, they were there, but they were not taking the personal care. But today's situation is the other way around. You will be hardly getting any such kind of teachers in any education system, any educational institutions. I'll tell you very few, and their numbers are dwindling. That is the very biggest part, challenge for implementing outcome-based education as well. And the outcome-based, what is this outcome-based education? Let us ask these questions. Of course, all of you might be knowing because it is a part and parcel of the MBA, National Board of Accreditation. So all those things are there, but why we are going to do that? The outcome, basically, education system, why we are doing? Because it's not that we found out our problems. It is the people in the Western country, they realize that what education they are imparting is of not much value to the students. It is not that the problem with us, our education system, problems across the globe, according to me. So therefore, they worked on it, but we never worked on that. That is the very sad part of it. Let us understand, because as it has come and it is, we are a signatory to the Washington Accord, and it is going as a part of MBA accreditation. So therefore, we'll have to do it. So let us understand, why we are doing. That is the reason. And one reason is that we want to see that quality of education, which is deteriorating at an alarming rate, we can improve the quality of education. That too in engineering education. That is another reason what we say that this is a panacea which can solve the problems of education, and we become more effective and efficient in imparting the education, particularly the engineering education. So as your chairman was telling, and also Dr. Nagbhushan is talking about, is basically it is the content based, and what Dr. Nagbhushan is talking about, compatibility. Now we need to look at it whatever the education we are giving in engineering particularly, whether it is compatible or not. I mean, to our society first, forget about global citizen. Nowadays, a very great slogan is going on global, global, global. Hey, Baba, first you will have to think of local. Then I will have to talk about global. Global citizens, global. First, I must be a citizen in my own country. If I'm not a good citizen, of course, you will go to some other country, you become a very good citizen. What is this? This is not the right thing. So coming back to that, what is this outcome-based education? It is basically a process of designing and developing a curriculum and how to teach and also assessment. Three components are there in the when you impart the education. One is curriculum, and then methodology or the pedagogy, what we call, how to teach, and assessment methods, so that a learner can master the subject of interest, or and he'll be prepared himself or herself to contribute, and achieve excellence. That is the basically idea. And of course, the what is the objective of education today? It is basically what you call the job. Suppose you say that you are engineer. Most of the engineering student, what we produce, what they do? They land in the IT sectors, whether aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, any engineering, most of them are landing in the, what you call, the IT sector. Now, what will be the motivation for them to learn? That is the question one has to ask. This is a question, of course, is not under the purview of this outcome-based education. However, I must emphasize that whenever we talk about outcome-based education, in practical sense, one has to look at what is the motivation of the learner. Because without that, what you will do? You may think of some kind of attributes made by the MBA, and then, you will be teaching. Because I always tell to my students, hey, why you are not coming to class? Because in IIT, people are having a lot of freedom. Freedom means responsibility. So I'll call him, hey, why didn't you come that? And then he will say something, then I call to them for a tea or something. And then those students who are not coming, and have a, heart-to-heart discussion. Then, it is very revealing. I say, sir, what to do? Because I will have to prepare for, not only for this, I will have to prepare for my job. And that will be true for other students as well. So therefore, that has to be also looked at. Let me coming back to that what is this difference between this outcome-based learning, or the, kind of things, education, and what is this content-based learning, or the, what we call traditional based learning. See, actually, I would not like to say traditional, rather I'll say content-based. Content-based education is basically there is a course of studies and curriculum committees. They decide that what will be the content. Of course, that is, certain objectives in mind. And there is no way they can really take the input from the, what you call, students. But that is not true to a last extent, because why I'm saying, at least in IITs, we always take the input from students, and we are having, curriculum revision, and there the student inputs are being taken. And so also the industry and other things are being taken. Here also outcome-based industry are being taken. But the objective is here is that you will have to see that what are the outcomes of that first, as your chairman has rightly told, that it is just reverse way around. You find out what are the outcomes and what you want to achieve, and then you'll have to go back and design your curriculum, and then also the methodology of the teaching, that is pedagogy, and then you will be talking about how to assess. But and of course, the what is that? What do you call? Uh, what is this outcome-based education is emphasizing is that lifelong learning. But I sometimes look at myself or look at other people. Is it lifelong learning or is not about? Can any human being escape from the lifelong learning? Nobody can escape from the lifelong learning because as a man is a curious and creative creature by nature, as your chairman was talking about curious. Today, because of bad education, because of bad upbringing, better social milieu, and the abuses of the technology that made us to not to think. Therefore, people are talking about critical thinking, people are talking about thinking, like various kinds of terminology have come. And this, because of Western people are suffering, and as we are aping the Western blindly, we are also now suffering because of, getting away from the human mind or the humanity, rather, because of abuses of the what you call technology. Too much of anything is bad. Ati darpe hatalanka, ati manasya kaurava, ati dane varibadda, ati sarvatra. Too much of anything is bad that is happening. So therefore, we stop asking questions. Because I always tell to my students, ask questions. What your chairman told, at least I feel he is a great teacher. He might be teaching. He knows that students are not asking questions. And I believe the question people are not asking. I always tell them my own poem, question can never be a silly. It can be a beautiful lily in the garden of knowledge. That is the truth is after age. So unfortunately, man, that is the birthright of a man is to ask a question, not to others. A question must be asked to himself, and a journey has to be made to search. What is for education is required. Brahman Satyam Jagat Spurti Jivanam Satya Sodhanam. Human life is just to go on searching, in search, अनुसंधान, जैसे कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री बोले जय अनुसंधान. See, this is a very innate nature of human being. Any human being, whether he is an Indian, whether he is a foreigner, whether he is a Pakistani, whether he is anybody, that is the nature, innate nature of the people. But unfortunately, because of this modern education, because of this, because of like the way we live a life just for surviving, we do not know how to live a life. Unfortunately, because of education, because of for all this kind of modern way. So therefore, we are away from that. Therefore, this we need to do to revive the innate nature of the human being, how to live with a compatible with the or in union with the mother nature. That is the important thing. And what I would like to take is an opportunity to interact with you and tell that, look, if you want to learn about education, if you want to really give about education, one has to go back to our ancient scriptures. You'll have to go to particularly Upanishads, you go back and see that what are the kind life learning, whatever the terminology that is there, like, lying there, and they are practicing. It is not that they were talking. We are today talking about it and trying to implement in a very mechanical way. It should be coming from the system. It should not be imposed on the system. And if it is not coming up from the system, then there is a problem. Because you can take the horse to the water, but you cannot make them to drink. And if you put them to drink, then it will be a problem. Forcefully, we can do that. But then it will be problem. And that is what is happening. And which is, of course, one has to start somewhere. So therefore, we can take this as an opportunity to relook at the education system as a whole. And NEP 2020 has really brought out a framework which can help us in reviving the actual education, what it should. Of course, the objective of education not to provide job, but to give how to live a life of a human being and then transform himself into a godhood. And then, you will have to enjoy. The ultimate objective of human life is to expand, is to explore, expand, and experience the effulgent eternity. So that is the objective of education. It's not that only for job, only for getting food. Food anyway you will have to get. I'm not saying that without food you can live. No. You will have to earn your livelihood. And what is this, if you go to the Bloom's taxonomy, which is the basis of this outcome-based education, then you will find he was defining knowledge in a very different way. Later on, he has corrected. Okay. That is a good thing he has done. But knowledge is not that which you can transform to others. Knowledge can neither be, it can never be transferred from one person to other. That is a wrong concept according to me. Knowledge has to acquired by any individual. It cannot be jnana uparjanam. Like, you'll have to be working on that. What we get is, for example, I'm now talking with you. It is not that knowledge I'm giving you. I'm just trying to inform you, informations, and then you will have to think and then find out what is the knowledge. Even if you acquire the knowledge, you cannot transfer to anybody. So that is a misconception, at least to my mind, and it is, So therefore, if you look at what is this, when you talk about this content-based learning and outcome-based learning, as I told, this is in a content-based, there is a predefined curriculum, assessment, and what you call performance kind of things. But here, it is the other way around. First, you'll have to look at what is the outcome, what you want to have. And basically, people are talking about this transformational, it can transform. And then you'll have to look at also what kind of assessment you'll have to do. But I will go one step further. According to me, each individual are different. Their way of learning is different. So therefore, if new education methodology has to be developed, it will be based on that, not on this. This may be a transition to the actual education, what is to be defined. I will not talk about that today. I will be, maybe some other time I'll talk. So therefore, and what is the thing, the flexibility has come into the outcome-based education, where a student can learn from various sources and then do that. Always student do. Let me tell you, with my experience, you teach something, they will be learning, they will be basically what you call towards examination. In a hurry, they will be looking at, nowadays with the internet, they're looking at various kinds of, they get confused as well also. And then, but that is a thing that students can learn at their own pace and own time. That is the beauty of this outcome-based education. And also certain way of kind of macro view of learning and achievements has to be looked at. Learning assessment, it's not that exact, okay, you give some exact questions and exact answer. No, I will tell you, this kind of thing was being practiced, because when I was in ISC Bangalore, I got a question paper which was running maybe something around 7-8 pages, and only it was 7-8 pages was containing 3 questions. And I was asked to give exam. You can take 3 hours was given, but you can say 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever you want, you can take. And books are, it is an open book. It was that kind of question, was being put. So people were experimenting, some of them, and then not all. But now this became a new normal. Okay. So therefore, you can. But now question arises: is it that easy? And to do that things, whether the people will receive, all those questions have to be looked at. It has to be looked at in a how to do it, because that understanding should be. And higher level of performance capabilities, and that has to be judged from the student. But how to devise the assessment technique is a very important question, is to be asked.